that's in San Diego. Looking at the September 2021, this is the overall market for single family detached home. As you could see, the existing single family home sale actually decreased by 10% since last year. Which is really interesting because the inventory is still getting very tight. Even the closed sale has reduced since a year ago. However, you will see the purchase price, the sold price for the single family home actually went up by almost 16% compared to last year. And that could be factored into, tight inventory and then also low interest rate. That's why buyers are still making price up. And I will definitely share example with you for one of my buyers. He actually also went up to get the his dream home. So I will share his personal journey with you. And then when we look at the active listing, unfortunately, compared to the same time last year, we actually decreased almost 15%. So inventory is very, very tight. Whenever the house got on the market, usually it gets snatched out very quickly. I have a personal example to share. I have a listing got on the market, it went into pending, I think in 4 days with 10 offers. And I will be getting more offer if I just didn't cut it off. But anyway, the active listings are significantly less than last year. You will see the days on market is only 9 days, which is actually still very, very short. Previously, a month, 3 week to a month is very normal. Right now, it's only 9 days. And that's why I always tell my buyer, whenever you see a home you love, don't wait. Call me right away so I can get you into your dream home. Otherwise, this is what I say: you snooze, you lose, right? So don't wait. Sales list price is 100.7. What that meant is you probably do need to pay a little bit more than the listing price to get the dream home you wanted. But the good news is actually has decreased from July, which is the highest sell to list price for the entire year. That was at the 105%. So whatever listing you have, you are expect to pay at least 5% or more. For some of my buyers, we are actually paying like 10 to 15% for the house in a good school district. But right now, there's a little relief. You are not expecting to pay that high compared to a list price. But it could also mean sellers are listing the price even higher than before. So this is a little trickier. Usually when the buyer asks me, Jean, how much should I make the offers? I never really say, pay 10 or 15% higher than listing price. I always say, let me take a look and I'll give you my suggestions and we can go from there. The numbers of days on for the active listing with the reduced price is actually 25%. This has increased. And this also is a good news for the buyer. That means more and more houses are doing reductions. So you might be able to snatch a good deals that way. But on the other hand, playing the devil's advocates, it could also mean seller are too aggressive in terms of listing the price. But basically, they might be, shooting for the moon, and that's why the price are coming down a little bit. So this is a buyer. I helped purchase his first home. I think 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And this is a buyer. I really do think he has one of the best luck because when I submit this offer for him, the one you saw on the picture, Dale Sir, I didn't go see the house with him either. I think he just have usually found the house himself, and he trusts me, in terms of negotiating the deal for him. So he contacted me, and I say, hey, let's write the offer. And I actually look up the history of this home. So this is really quite interesting. I'll look up the date for you. So basically, this was a house that was built in 2019, only 2 years new. And then it was on the market this year, June, for $949,000. It got into pending July, a month later, for 1.06. Uh, is that $100,000 more roughly, right? That's so they sold for $100,000 roughly more. And this is actually one of the community I like. I saw a different house across from this community. So this is a community called Skies. And one of the reasons I really like it is because the amenity and also the proximity to all the shopping. So you don't need to drive. You can walk over to grocery store, Target, the all the shop and restaurant. And also the cool thing about Del Sur, which is one of the best community in San Diego, the school district is excellent. It's amazing. And then the philosophy, so this community is in the Black Mountain Range community. And when the builder built this community, they have the idea to have the park near each of the community, so the resident don't need to go too far to enjoy the outdoor activity and go hiking, walking, biking with the little one. And so they are, if I remember correctly, there are 13 different park. And so they are parked literally, right next to your community. That's really cool. And so my client really liked this house because it's really new and it's on the corner. You can see on the second picture, it's a corner unit. Has all the window, bring out so much light into the house. And also I like the location in terms of the elevations because it's a little higher than the street. So you don't get so much of the street noise and you actually get a better view of the hill, from your window. So I really like about that one. So the negotiation goes, because my buyer has a loan contingency, and so the seller agent say, "How sure can you make the loan contingency? You will be in the top three, but not sure you will get that. We will let the seller know. Thank you." Then I wrote back. I was talking to my buyer, and I say, 14 days or less, my buyer is talking to the loan officer. He might be able to remove the loan contingency too. Based on my recollections, I think he has $500,000 cash. He just preferred not to put all of it. And then I went back to my buyer, and the buyer said he couldn't find his loan officer. So I just need to. So I call a different loan officer I know, and I say, "Here's a number from my buyer. Can you try to figure out whether he will qualify and how strongly he was?" And so I did get the okay from the loan officer I know, saying the buyer is all legit, everything is good. So then I asked the buyer, "What would you like to do?" and then I went back to the listing agent at the same time. So the listing agent said, "Just get off the phone with the seller. If you can, it's all yours." So if he can, he was negotiating with me offline. He was saying, "Can your buyer remove all contingency? All, not just inspection, not just appraisal, not just loan, but title, seller disclosure, HOA dot, everything." So literally my buyer, he want my buyer to agree to buy it regardless. It's not going to back out. And then that's when I contact my buyer, because I was like, great, we don't have anything to back out. Because I was thinking if we have some type of contingency, I can still help my buyer get out of the escrow if something goes wrong, right? And the listing agent is like, "No, you need to remove everything if you want that." I talked to my buyer. My buyer originally feel uncomfortable, but then I kind of rationalize with him. I say, You know you already want to remove appraisal contingency because you told me regardless you will still want to buy this house, right? And then inspection, you know this house was built in 2019. That's not going to be any major problem as far as I can tell. And then you already say you're going to remove loan contingency. So what's left is seller disclosure, HOA dot, title report, preliminary title report. You feel like you are holding on something that can protect you, but it's a forced sense of security. You know why? Because premier title report, I know the title is not going to have any problems just because this house just literally sold not long ago. So if the title company can issue title policies, I know there will be nothing wrong with the premier title report. And then the HOA document, the same thing. Most of HOA documents don't really have any problem, especially with a new community. We know there's no active litigation. And then seller disclosure, very similar. Someone just bought this townhouse 3 months prior. Well, actually, yeah, 3 months prior. So I really don't think anything will go wrong. However, it's still up to you to decide whether you want to buy this home. I don't think it's a lot of risk if you want to remove all the contingency, but the decision is on you. So my buyer say, yeah, that's fine. And then so I went back to the buyer, listing agent, and listing agent say, just go off the phone with the seller if you can do it, if you can remove all the contingency. That's what pretty much what he say. He says it's all yours. And then he wrote, this is one of the nicest things people have said to me. And FYI, you are not the highest offer. They want simple, and my broker love you. So pretty much, we want the offer, even though we were not the highest offer, because we have a very straightforward offer, very simple. And then I have prior relationship with the listing agent's broker. Like I mentioned before, I didn't have any previous deal with them. I just know them and I have talked to them. And I think I have done one open house for this broker. When I guess when she need help, she asked the escort company, any of the agents they know can do the open house. So the escort people reach out to me, and I did that open house. And I remember I gave that broker a very good summary, let them know, what was the showing like. So I guess that created a very good impression for them. And this is
Of
the
course.
deal I am doing, and I'm actually representing seller. And I want to use this one as a story to share, just to let you know how competitive the market is in San Diego. So this is a small townhouse, 3 bedrooms in 92126. That's Maya Mesa in San Diego. So Maya Mesa is pretty central. Actually, it's the same zip code as our office, the same zip code as Three Root, the new development. It's highly sought after in terms of investment property. Also, first home purchases, because the price is still relatively affordable, and is close to the major freeway, and also the Qualcomm, which is the biggest private employer in San Diego. So my client purchased this townhome in 2017, and I represent him when he purchased this townhome. He purchased as part of the 1031 exchange. Right now, he's also selling it as part of his 1031 exchange. This time, he's doing a reverse 1031 exchange. So he's selling 3 property, exchanging for one big property. The buyer is going to get a lot of tax benefit this way, right? They can combine both of the tax saving strategies. And also, he's doing a reverse 1031. Why is it reverse? Because the 3 property he was selling, they all rented out. We were doing property management for them, and the tenants are going to move out at different months. And so the tricky thing is, how am I going to make the 45 identification window work if I have 3 different property going to be sold at 3 different times? So I negotiate with the seller and I explain to them my strategy. I say I think you should do a reverse, because you told me it would be hard for you to find a replacement property. So if I sell those three, even if they close right away, what if you couldn't find your replacement property? Then you are not still going to be able to use the 1031. And so he agreed to that, and then I knew that he had some additional fund on the side, so I said, why don't you go ahead and find a replacement property first, let's lock that in, and then after you lock it in, we have 180 days to close, once you close your replacement property. And so this is our last one to be sold.